for today's CyberCEO episode.
I think Gabe he's just a self-motivator. Whenever I give him a task, he always sometimes surprises me. So he's definitely that bridge that helps me gap that, I don't have to be doing all my entire time. And so all those things that, I do while I'm still off the clock, and Gabe is doing all that work for me, and it really is very helpful. Gabe definitely helps me fulfill that gap and gets my name out there. Sometimes just putting together a call list. So I'm like, I'm gonna hand that off to Gabe. More things that I can hand off that in the background. It leaves me more time to be more creative with what I can do for more ideas I can come up with to either reach out to new clients or so forth and so on.
Welcome to CyberCEO, wherein we talk about how our cyberbackers helped our cyber CEOs take their businesses to the next level. CyberCEO is powered by Cyberbacker, the world's leading provider of admin support services from anywhere in the world to anyone in the world. Please visit our website www.cyberbacker.com for more details. Okay, another awesome day here at Cyberbacker. My name is 𝗙𝗯𝗶𝗶. We're back with another episode of CyberCEO. And of course, we have a very special guest on the show right now. Fleming, how are you doing today?
Great, thanks, 𝗙𝗯𝗶. How are you doing?
Yes, I'm doing wonderful. Thank you very much for asking and for dropping by. We know you're very, very busy. Now, to kick things off, to let you know, we have a lot of listeners who are also business owners just like you. So I need your help here. Can you introduce yourself to our audience? Maybe let's start off with, what's your role in the business, Fleming?
Well, my name is Fleming Chu, and I work for 𝗙𝗯𝗶𝗹 Executive. And I've been in business about 5 years, mainly deal with half-half. I do half commercial, half residential. I'm really just really needed to reach out to Cyberbacker for help with really the back end of my business to just free up some more time so that I can invest more time actually thinking about the business rather than just running it every single step of it.
True. Again, that's the beauty of virtual leverage, right?
Right.
Yes. Now, talking more about your partnership with Cyberbacker, how did you find out about us?
Actually, I was at Mega Camp this year, and I don't know if the audience knows what that is, but KW always holds a couple of large sales conferences every year. One is the Family Reunion, and the other one is called Mega Camp. Mm-hmm. So at Family Reunion, that's when I was introduced to Cyberbacker, and I started asking around, and actually one of our big producers, top producers in our company already uses Cyberbacker. So he highly recommended them. So I also then got interested and decided to join.
There. Now we're here. How long have you been with us, Fleming?
Well, let's see. Probably around 4 months now.
4 months. Now,
yeah.
I'm curious to know, is this your first time working with someone virtual, or did you have experience before Cyberbacker?
No, this is actually my very first time.
First go at going virtual. So how was the transition for you? Because a lot of us are kind of used to working with people that we can see or meet in person. Now everything's going a lot more virtual. So how was the transition for you?
I believe it was pretty smooth. I mean, I think for the last 2 years, since we've been in COVID, doing things virtually through Zoom has become a norm. And I think actually working with a virtual assistant was a very smooth transaction because already kind of used to that kind of format.
Yeah, a lot of things on Zoom, things like that, Zoom meetings, video calls, right?
Right. Yeah, definitely.
Now, talking about your Cyberbacker, I'd like to know, how did you know that he was the perfect fit? That's what you needed in the business, just going through that hiring process.
Well, when we first hired, I was given 5 applicants. I mean, I was given all the profiles, all their different marketing tools that they've gone through and sent out. And I think, with Gabe, he just had a really outstanding portfolio. And during the interview process, I think he gave really good answers, very succinct, easy to talk to. And I think, as soon as I had a one-on-one with him, it was pretty obvious that he was the one for my company.
There we go. Just felt that there was a match, especially in the values too. Am I right?
Definitely. I think, just looking through all the different marketing materials that he went through already, that he already has under his belt. And that's always been true with, the work that I've given Gabe whenever we needed anything. And that's like half the things I needed. For me, I'm in sales. So my forte is talking to clients, getting them to sign a dotted line. But it's harder for me to spend, if I want to do a marketing piece, why spend a whole entire day doing it? Because it's just not my forte.
True again, because again, especially in real estate, business is built around relationships that you build. So you really have to be out there, not in the office doing paperwork, things like that, right?
Right, exactly.
Now, talking more about Gabe, what are the things that you leverage off to him? What are the tasks that you let him do every day that really help you to focus on growing your business?
I mean, he definitely does the day-to-day. When we first started our business, I went over our annual business plan with him and said, hey, this is what we want to do for the rest of the year. These are all the marketing things we want to do for the rest of the year. I gave him a whole calendar full of all the different holidays that we would celebrate or want to mail out to our clients. There are different events that we do, such as like tomorrow we actually have a private viewing of Thor. Later on this month we have a Dodger game appreciation, client appreciation at a Dodger game. We buy out a section for the clients. So all those things actually Gabe would design different marketing pieces for and send them out to our clients, follow up with them. He put together a database to show, hey, this is who's coming, who can't make it, who actually wants to talk to me about their real estate needs. So he's definitely that bridge that helps me gap that, I don't have to be doing all my entire time. And in fact, all the marketing pieces that he sends out, like this 4th of July, one of my clients said, hey, thank you for the 4th of July mailer. Hey, I have a friend who's looking to sell their $3.2 million house. Would you be able to help me list it? I'm like, of course. So all those things that, I do while I'm still, off the clock, and Gabe is doing all that work for me. And it really is very helpful.
So really the marketing piece and getting your name out there, name of the business out there, I mean.
Sure, yeah. And branding is definitely a big piece of being a real estate agent. And I think, for me, it really is very time consuming to be running that back end myself, right? I don't have time to talk to clients and go through contracts and at the same time still try to get my name out there. But Gabe definitely helps me fulfill that gap and gets my name out there. And not only my name out there to new clients, but usually really just, a lot of times I think in real estate, we're so busy that we forget to keep in touch with our old clients. And those are the easiest, I want the easiest, the warm touches that you can get that you get you the most business.
True, that's true. Again, not just because the transaction is done, but again, just reaching out to them. Again, just building on that relation that you already created when they were listing with you, things like that, right?
Correct. Right. Exactly.
Now, talking more about the tasks that you leverage off to Gabe. Fairly new in the partnership, I know you have a growth plan for your Cyberbacker. So we'd like to know, what are some of the new things that you're planning to let him do, let's say in the next 3-6 months from today?
So actually, with Gabe, I think the marketing aspect of it, he has down like perfect. I mean, whenever I give him something, he even, I think, goes above and beyond. I think Cyberbacker does a great job training them, but every business is very specific, and especially when it comes to branding. So, in this particular aspect, when we talk about transaction coordinating, that's definitely something that's very unique to every single state. Every state does it relatively different. And I think for Gabe, that's the next plan, to just have him be more acquainted with the transactional documents that we need and when they need to be received and uploaded to our what we call command, so that we can be signed off on the transaction. And we moved him from part-time to full-time recently.
Wow.
And yeah, because he was doing so awesome, and so now his new responsibilities would also require him to actually put together the calling list for the ISA. So I also hired an ISA. So they were really just a team of 3. And, part of it was like when I used to have an ISA, I would spend like an hour or two sometimes just putting together a call list. So I'm like, I'm going to hand that off to Gabe, so more things that I can hand off that, are in the background. It leaves me more time to be more creative with what I can do for more ideas I can come up with to either reach out to new clients or so forth and so on.
Yeah, again, that's going to be very exciting, especially moving forward. More things for him to do, more opportunities to grow, of course.
Definitely, yeah.
Yes. Now, since this is your first time working with someone who's virtual, we'd like to know, do you have any tips that you can share with our audience, our listeners, on how to create a successful partnership with, again, someone who's virtual?
I mean, I think in any kind of partnership, it all comes to communication. I think, there's always setting that expectation. And I think Cyberbacker does a really good job of setting those expectations up with a 30, 60, 90-day plan reviews. And so I always get calls back from the head backers asking me, hey, is there something we can do to help Gabe improve, to make it better? And so I think there's always that part that you have to make it your own. I mean, it's your own brand, your own company. So you can't just, I think, rely solely on Cyberbacker to train all those details into the VA that you're working with. Mm-hmm. So I think that the tip for me would be like, really come up with a plan with your Cyberbacker, be very specific on what you're expecting those 30, 60, 90 days. And as long as there's growth in every single one of those segments, I think you're heading in the right direction. But, setting that up and just asking him, and you need to overlook the work. I think in the very beginning, I also just kind of thought, oh yeah, he's got it. He's got training. That's, but most of it is all still it falls back on me. I'm still, the driver of the bus.
True.
So I definitely need to be the one responsible for all the work that comes out of whether the marketing or any of the pieces that we present out into the social media.
I totally agree with you there, especially with the tasks. Again, Cyberbacker is there to train them, of course, with anything that we can do to help. But again, we have our own different styles on how we want things. So you would still have to let them know how you want it done, right?
Exactly. Right.
Yes, right there. Now, one last question for you. And I forgot to tell you that Gabe is going to be listening once we have this episode uploaded.
Sounds good.
We would like to know, what do you like most about your Cyberbacker, Gabe? What's the first thing that comes to mind?
I think Gabe he's just a self-motivator. Whenever I give him a task, he always sometimes surprises me. We talk about putting out those pieces for all the holidays, but then, he puts them up and then he adds a couple lines in there that I'm like, oh, he actually added some jokes in there, some hook lines, and it's nothing we talked about. Or if I asked him, hey, we got to do a class on how to put together an ad in Command. Mm-hmm. He's like, oh, okay, I'll put together a PowerPoint for you. I'm like, oh, okay, I didn't even ask for that, but sure, okay, that sounds great. So it's things like that. Like, he thinks, in a sense, like he takes what I say and then
goes the extra mile.
Definitely goes the extra mile, exactly.
Now, we are very, very excited to see where this partnership leads to, of course, for the months to come. And again, Fleming, thank you very much for dropping by. I had fun talking to you today.
Yeah, thanks, 𝗙𝗹𝗹𝗶. Really had a good time, and best of luck to all of us.
Yeah, we appreciate you and your business, Fleming. You have a great day.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to our daily dose of CyberCEO. Stay tuned to know more about how Cyberbacker creates a difference in this digital time and age. You can visit our website www.cyberbacker.com and follow our social media pages on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Spotify.